Second contest of the evening, making his way to the ring. Danny Kennedy, born here but now resides in the warmer climates of Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hellraiser Boxing Association with Warrior Promotion presents 6 3-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Firstly, introducing in the blue corner, wearing the green and white trunks, he weighing at 10 stone, 9 pounds. This is his 14th fight tonight from Lithuania, Edvinas Puplauskos. And wrestling in the red corner, wearing the white and red trunks, he weighing at 10 stone and 9 pounds. His unbeaten record consists of 4 fights, 4 wins from St. Helens, Jersey. Kennedy! The referee will now give his final instructions to both boxers. Round 1.
So the second fight on the bill this evening, at 10 stone 10, 6 threes. Danny Kennedy in the red corner, Edvinas Puplauskos in the blue. As I was saying, Kennedy was a UK resident, now resides in Australia. He's come home for a few rounds on English soil of late though. He was at New Dock Hall, the Royal Armouries in Leeds. Points were in that time over Arvidas Trisno, who features on tonight's bill against Tony Milch a little bit later on. Edvinas Puplauskos in the green shorts.
Well, Danny's definitely brought the crowd with him.
It will take a little while to fill up completely this evening. Good support already for Danny Kennedy. It's 4-0 as a professional. First 3 were in New South Wales. Nice part of the world. Some pretty tropical weather here though the last few days. I don't think it's going to get any cooler as the crowds file in. Puplauskos a little wild with the right off a double jab.
He's got quite an unorthodox style.
Just keep dropping the jab though. Lead hand Puplauskos, it's sort of coming up and down. It's a certain gap that presents itself, almost in a rhythm. It's dropping up and down. As soon as he throws it, it drops down to the waist, and he's telegraphing the right hand too.
Let's see if Danny's going to pick that up, or his corner. Okay, he's a bit of a switch hitter as well.
He took the words out of my mouth there, so an interesting stylistic conundrum, but he has got 6 rounds to unpick this.
True. And there's a lot of flaws that he's already shown in this opening round with dropping the hands. So the switch hitting might just cause that bit of confusion that can balance it.
As a fighter, Josh, do you find that sometimes it's less easy to see the little ticks and tells and perhaps the chinks in an opponent's armour than it is if you're watching ringside? And is that really the benefit of having a good corner man in between rounds?
Definitely, but also it's your job to use the corner man as a bonus. So you've got to go in the ring, as I said in the last fight, you've got to use that first round to ask as many questions, get as much data as possible. You can't leave it to chance. But another perspective is always good. It was a good backhand from Danny. Flush on the temple.
So Puplauskos now back orthodox, just on the back foot, dancing around the ring, parries the jab.
He's got quite a relaxed way of fighting until he starts throwing his punches. They're quite big swings when he does throw, but relaxed in his stance.
So the right hand
quite explosive, yeah.
Explosive, a little wild too. So Kennedy just gets his feet caught up on the promotional bits around the outside of the ring. So first round down, and well, it could take a couple of rounds for Danny Kennedy to just get his timing and range, especially with a switch hitter. Almost by definition, switch hitting just designed to create a more awkward conundrum and make you think about twice the number of angles, twice the number of things coming back at you, and it takes it twice as long to prepare and adapt. So
if done properly, there's a lot of fighters that do it as a fad and they get caught off balance quite a lot. So it's something that if you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly. I think a lot of Brendan Ingles fighters up in Sheffield, they were trained in that way where they kind of mastered that way of switch hitting, but keeping your balance. So balance has got a lot to do with it.
A particularly impressive switch hitting performance was Danny Jacobs against Gennady Golovkin.
Oh yes,
a month ago. I think he was quite unlucky actually there, but he certainly, regardless of the result, showed actually the kind of textbook use of switch hitting at its best.
Most definitely. And I think even Kell Brook today might actually demonstrate some of that.
You're right.
It's a good parry from Edvinas. It's a nice high guard from Danny, stopping any thought of anything coming back. When you've got a high guard like that, it makes someone think twice before they even risk throwing a punch when your hands are that high. You're not given any opportunity there.
Puplauskos is exceptionally relaxed in comparison, isn't he? It's always interesting to see the contrast in styles between two boxers. Puplauskos on the back foot, but he sort of has the air of someone that's got plenty of time on his hands, doesn't look rushed.
Very relaxed style. But his punches are very explosive and wild, which is funny because you don't really get to see that mix. Oh, he just got caught in the chin there.
Yeah, it was a nice stiff jab off a combination from Murphy. Probably the cleanest shot that he's landed so far.
Very true.
Puplauskos just coming back, trying to re-establish that distance behind the jab. And now it's Murphy who's looking to parry and counter. Just for a brief moment, first time in the contest, he's on the back foot. Puplauskos now just taking the initiative for the first time in the contest.
And he's letting his hands go, and he's looking quite relaxed now. He's got a good jab. He's using his jab as a rangefinder, and as soon as he gets in there, unloads with the combinations.
Better from Murphy though, good response.
Another good jab though from Murphy.
I think the right hand was caught mainly on the shoulder. The jab afterwards got through, and that's caught Puplauskos' attention. It's warming up nicely, this one.
Yeah, good fight, good style.
Come on, Dan, come on.
Puplauskos hasn't switched in this round, perhaps an indication that he's feeling less comfortable than he was in the opener.
And feeling the pressure.
And I suppose you revert to autopilot when you are in that stage, don't you?
Most definitely. He's taken a few clean ones this round as well.
Certainly an orthodox fighter rather than a southpaw. That's his natural tendency. He's starting to let his hands go there, but Murphy covered up pretty well. Bit of holding and hitting there, and just round the back of the head, the referee. That's good refereeing.
Very good.
We've come to the end of round number 2, and this one has just started to catch light a little bit. Good spells by both boxers.
Yeah, that was definitely good refereeing for a referee to see the back. They usually say it was a bit too late. Opponents getting hit in the back of the head, and it's usually too late.
But Puplauskos is good finish to that round. Just a couple of warnings to Danny Kennedy that he's not going to lay down and just let him have things all his own way, which I think there were perhaps indications in the first round that it's just going to be the bull and the matador for all 6, but he certainly fought in little bursts and raids, and Kennedy covered up most of that flurry towards the end of the second round. Nonetheless, the impetus was there.
Both looking a bit tired now, so that round definitely made them both exert themselves a bit.
I think the one thing that is difficult to get across at home, just how hot it can be in a boxing arena. Well,
under the lights.
Under the lights, and given the heat of the day and the couple of days that we've had in London as well, this can really, really take it out of you. Down to Joe Gallagher's gym up in Bolton, and goodness me, he keeps that place like a sauna just to replicate the absolute worst case scenario that you do get a hot day in a big arena full of people.
Or you get sent out on your shield to Mexico.
Well, you just don't know, do you, where you're going to be travelling to and what the weather's going to be like. And, you know, God forbid the aircon breaks in one of these small hall places and you're out in Puerto Rico and suddenly these are the kind of conditions that, unless you have prepared for them, can really take you by surprise.
But that's the best way to train. Train for the worst case scenarios. Tyson used to always say that. He used to train really hard, and after his fights would be like, well, I think I trained too hard because this fight was too easy, but it's not. It's never too easy. You just got to push yourself to all the worst case scenarios.
Absolutely. Kennedy now stalking forwards again, resuming the same pattern that was present in round 1 and most of 2. And those body shots just took a brief moment to register with Puplauskos there, and you can often tell that because a fighter's hands just dropped momentarily.
He dropped, and he still dropped, but he smiled once he took it.
Again,
and he's back on his switching again.
Back to southpaw, those awkward looping shots over the top. Bit of kidology now from Puplauskos, maybe just trying to say, no, you didn't hurt me, and just prove so by coming forwards and making Kennedy hesitant to build on that patch of success with those body shots. Now Kennedy crashing in those body shots off. 2 hooks to the head. Promoter Mickey Elliott just looking on, intrigued ringside. Really good way to kick off the action so far. Nice technical display from Elvis Makoda over Luke Fash. Unanimous decision, and now we're in the midst of a decent tussle here between Danny Kennedy and Edvinas Puplauskos.
There's been some nice exchanges.
Again, it's not been gung-ho, is it? Guys are taking their time. Nice stiff jab to the body there from Kennedy. It's been a mature performance so far from the man in the red corner, because he's an awkward, rangy opponent in front of him. Loose language style.
And quite explosive at the same time, which is a rare combination.
Absolutely. See there, just that strange, unorthodox, almost slightly Roy Jones-esque kidology and showboating with a...
Roy Jones and Mr. Stretch.
And there we go, just past the halfway mark then in this 6-rounder. As we say, lots and lots to look forward to later on this evening. Jeffrey Ofuri and Joe Beeden coming up. Gelasius Taru, Norbert Kaluska, Chris Congo and Michael Voska too. And then of course the big one, English super lightweight title on the line, Phil Bowes and Glenn Foote. With rumours of Tyrone Nurse potentially vacating his British strap, this one really could ostensibly act as kind of eliminator for that belt were it to become vacant.
And that would really open it up. It's funny because that vacation or the defeat of Klitschko really opened up the heavyweight division.
Didn't it just?
So sometimes you kind of need that.
Yeah, imagine where we'd be without that. You think Joseph Parker holding the WBO, exactly. Wilder with the WBC.
It's just
Anthony Joshua with the other 3.
So it's anyone takes all now. It's really opened it up.
Absolutely, it's been quite a nice way actually to a transition to the next generation. I think that
Very true,
scenario.
yeah.
It's been a slightly unorthodox scenario. I don't think many people were giving Tyson Fury much chance a couple of years ago, but suddenly he did the deed, and it's just, as you say, blown a pretty stagnant division for best part of a decade, wide open.
It's true because styles make fights, and where someone like Tyson Fury found it very easy to beat Klitschko because he was taller, and Klitschko's dominant jab wasn't able to work against a taller opponent. At the same time, Tyson Fury's style can be beaten, as you saw when he was fighting against someone who was in a cruiserweight that got pumped
Steve
up.
Cunningham.
Yeah, Steve, that was
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
So you can see he's got a lot of flaws in his style, which Klitschko wasn't able to expose.
I don't think anybody quite expected the sort of tiptoe dancing performance that he put on, especially given that he's 6'8", 6'9", and
there we go.
best part of 20 stone. But proof that if anybody, well, if Tyson Fury can do it, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it, definitely.
Andrew Selby last night had to move plenty more than I think he would have liked, and he posted it, the pictures of the soles of his feet afterwards, just blisters galore.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had anything like that?
No, luckily. But there's little things you can do, like, for example, put Vaseline just to stop the rubbing and the friction.
We've digressed somewhat because we're in the middle of a really interesting tussle here. Danny Kennedy just trying to place some extra pressure on Edvinas Puplauskos, who seems equal to the task thus far.
It's very competitive right now. Anyone's in for it now.
4 rounds in, and well, certainly Kennedy's been the aggressor for the majority, but Puplauskos has not been overawed. And again, it's this unorthodox, slightly strange, very little tell to his shots as well. So he's just moving around, looking for that jab, moving his head well, little counter hook there, not a great deal on it.
But just enough to annoy you. There was a lot of net hook just then.
Absolutely, just enough to make you think that was the really telling shot there. But Puplauskos took it well.
Also he's showing. His hands come straight up to defend himself now. Those hands that are usually dropping, look how high they're up now, which obviously shows he was hurt by that shot.
Absolutely, yeah, just perhaps the odd sign. That was a nice right hand, and that's caught Puplauskos' attention. Now Kennedy
legs
perhaps
have gone a bit as well.
Have. I think perhaps that's one of the things that Kennedy would have liked to try and slow down are the legs of Puplauskos. He's been pretty fleet of foot so far. Now Kennedy beginning to work the body, and is the tide just slowly beginning to turn through round number 4. Doubles the jab up, right hand behind it, nice short chopping right hand. And the left hook just starting to land with greater frequency than he has in the previous 3. And this is good work from Kennedy. Oh, but Puplauskos comes back now. Well, same pattern as the last round, really interesting. Spells for Danny Kennedy, and then Puplauskos out of nowhere just finds a short but sharp rally.
You know, sometimes in training whenever it's the last 10 seconds of a round, they'll bang on the table like, come on everyone, put your last bit of effort in. And I think that's probably the way he's been working, because every last 10 seconds of the fight, he comes out with a big burst. Reminiscent of Golden Boy. He used to do that quite a lot as well. And Pacquiao.
You're absolutely right.
The last 10 seconds is still around.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose if you know that you're on the last 200 metres of a 26.5-mile marathon, it's easy to sprint, isn't it? So,
very true.
As you say, just saving those little raids and bursts with 2 rounds to go. Puplauskos still dangerous, but Danny Kennedy just edging this one for you, perhaps?
Most definitely, especially with those 2 straights that he landed, flush on. That definitely gave the round to him.
Almost certainly his strongest round number 4. As we start to enter the business end of proceedings here in this 10 stone 10 contest. Kennedy, as we mentioned, in the red corner with the white shorts. Edvinas Puplauskos in the green shorts in the blue corner. Puplauskos, a little taller, rangier of the 2. Hasn't been able to make it count completely, though. Certainly been awkward, but Kennedy has had no trouble getting himself within range and putting pressure on Puplauskos, more so as the contest has worn on.
I'd say more because Puplauskos is quite flat-footed, so he isn't able to step in and out, so it makes him quite static and stagnant, but he's got quite a dangly style and awkward. But if you plunge in enough and you jump in enough, you can catch him because he isn't moving too much of his feet.
No, moves pretty well at the hip, but
very good on the hips, yeah.
Just a constant change in hand positioning, isn't it? Just making you think, is he going to throw? When are the hands going to let loose? And there's very little tell behind his shots as Kennedy comes in with a 3-punch combination, then works the body.
Danny's still very cautious and not taking too much of a risk and making sure he's really jumping in when he sees a clear opportunity rather than trying to make an opportunity. I guess that's what you have to do with these really unpredictable fighters like Puplauskos.
There's a nice check left hook from Puplauskos, though, as Kennedy just lunged in, telegraphed the right-hander touch. It just looks as if Kennedy seems comfortable with the power that's in front of him. He doesn't seem too phased, and I think that's evident in his body language. He's still hunting, looking sharp, looking alert, and there's still plenty of pop behind his shots. Just sense, perhaps, that the pop of Puplauskos' shots has perhaps gone out of him slightly as Kennedy lands another nice stiff jab to the body.
definitely think Puplauskos shown well.
The commentator's curse, eh? As you say that, and a nice sharp left hook lands, and now Puplauskos doing what he's done
In
the last couple of rounds, just opening up. Kennedy having to cover up and really just keep his wits about him. I don't think he's too trouble. Quite long slapping hooks these. Kennedy seems okay, but he hangs on momentarily. Really, really good finish to the round for Puplauskos. Oh, a stiff jab, this one.
Spear-like jab there.
Terrific ebb and flow to this one as Kennedy comes back now, works a two-shot combination to the head, finishes on the body. Stiff jab makes the mouth guard come out. What a contest we're in. Wow. Just didn't see this one. Didn't see this one coming at all, did he? And suddenly Puplauskos.
No, I think after that last combination, because he didn't stop Danny, I think that really took it out of him. So maybe that spitting out the mouth guard was a deliberate act to get his breath back. As you saw the way we just spraggled over the ropes.
Absolutely, the mouthpiece of Puplauskos coming out, but perhaps a welcome break for Danny Kennedy, and he's just got his second wind. Comes forward again, the right hand just blunted by the shoulder of Puplauskos. The jab got through though. Back comes the man in the green shorts. There we go, round 5 of a terrific contest.
Very
it's just
interesting fight.
hotter and hotter as it's gone on. Well, I've got to say, it depends what Danny Kennedy's travel plans are, how long he's back at home for. But dare I say, whatever the result here, it'd be nice to see this one again.
Oh, most definitely. And you can see the mutual respect between each other, between them both actually. And also, I'm quite happy to see there's been no shots to the head again, the back of the head. It's been quite respectful. I think they've earned each other's respect, most definitely.
Absolutely, really enthralling contest. Just in the opening round, it didn't quite look as if they were going to gel, and actually they've done completely the opposite. Kennedy still looking as if he's the one with a little bit more pop behind the shots, and that he's carried that power a little bit later. Puplauskos, we know he can be dangerous, but you just feel as if he's only really got one more burst of sort of power and pop in him before it dissipates. You just wonder whether he'll save that for when he sees an opportunity in this round.
Yeah, most definitely. I think he's shown the best he's got, and Danny's still here. He's taking it. And I don't think Danny's shown the best he's got because he's been very cautious.
Still looking for a way and changes up the levels. That was nice work from Kennedy. And again, just parrying away those long, languid jabs of Puplauskos. Not a great deal behind those now as we approach the midpoint of round number 6.
I think Danny will get a lot of experience from this fight.
Without a shadow of a doubt, as Puplauskos now just spins off into the centre. Back to the ropes as he has done for large portions of this contest, but as Kennedy will be aware, at any point he could just spring into life. Kennedy looks determined not to let him have that moment. He'll know that this one's still pretty close. He's probably ahead, but I want to put a final exclamation mark on it just to be absolutely sure. Goes to the body and avoids the right hand. Nice work from the man in the white shorts. Then a 1-2 combination.
I wonder if Puplauskos's got one more burst in him, because every round so far he's been able to just unleash.
It feels as if he may.
Yeah.
If he knows it's the last round and he can go and have a nice bath after this, it just may well get a shout from his corner and throw the kitchen sink at Kennedy just for one last hurrah.
Nothing to lose at this stage.
Absolutely.
I think he's a bit behind Puplauskos. So
Nice stiff jab from Kennedy, just rocks the head back of Puplauskos momentarily.
he's
Puplauskos
kept
now.
his jab quite consistent, Danny, actually. Very stiff jab every time he's thrown it. He's not thrown one sloppy jab through this whole contest.
Nice stiff right hand from Kennedy just to punctuate proceedings at the final bell. Puplauskos just spits his mouthpiece out, doesn't quite look as happy as the man in the white shorts, and I think Kennedy knows he's done enough, or certainly will believe he's done enough. We will go to the judges'
And I think
scorecards,
he
of
ended
course.
it with a lovely punch there just to cement that victory in his head.
I think that was the pattern of the contest, wasn't it? Really, the regular, consistently eye-catching shots are coming by way of Kennedy. Puplauskos had his moments and certainly posed an awkward conundrum in there for the man in the red corner, but was it enough? We shall find out in just a few moments' time.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for both boxers. After 6 brilliant rounds against a referee scorecard, the referee in charge of the bout has scored the fight 60 points to 55 points in favour of the winner in the red corner from St. Heliers, Danny Kennedy. Please show your appreciation to the gallant Edvinas Puplauskos.
Danny, congratulations. Fair to say that was a competitive fight.
Oh, do you know what? I underestimated him a little bit because I thought a Lithuanian lad the last time, but like he put me under pressure a couple of times. It was good. I haven't been getting much sparring for this one. I only took a five-week training camp, but that was a good test for me to move on to the next level now.
What is next? You're 5-0 now.
I think I'm going to go for an 8-rounder next in Sheffield on the 29th of July on a Sheedy Commonwealth title fight. So do an 8-rounder there, then hopefully get a shot at like a southern area or an English towards the end of the year in my hometown Jersey.
That'd be great. First time in York Hall tonight?
First time I've ever boxed. I never boxed here as an amateur, so good experience.
Yeah, enjoyed it?
Yeah, loved it.
Congratulations, well done. You wanted to mention your sponsors.
Yeah, no, I just want to mention a special thanks to Dennis Hobson, Mickey Elliott for getting me on the show. My girlfriend, who's been unbelievable under the scenes, all of it, and all my sponsors, MBS, Home Fires, Coastal Carpentry, Prestige Roofing, Ruby Salon, Java, Mitchell's, and LH Fitness.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Back to Chris and Josh.